Whose premium quality can stand guidance with unstoppable charms.
Hello and good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello and good morning. Who is here? Today we actually just decided to go live. That is some few minutes before the time. That is around 10 to 20 minutes, 15 minutes actually. 15 minutes actually. So how many are here? Let me just know. You can actually comment down below just to put that on the chat. Loop Graphics, good morning. Lucy Moving, good morning. How are you doing? Yes, this is nice. This is nice. Now, so for those who are here, ensure that you like this video, and if you have not subscribed, ensure that you do that. That is going to be very important. And now I want us to start in a very nice way. Why? Because there are lots of things that have been happening, and I really love this. And for those who have been joining this live, they know, you know. If you are here on Friday, let me know. If you are here on Friday, let me just know. If you are here on Friday, let me just know, because I'm going to review that to see where we send on Friday, whether the market, whether gold actually did all that. Because this morning we have harvested big and made quite a good amount of money. What do you see on the screen? What do you see on the screen? Let me remove something here so that at least we can be on the same page. I want to remove these hands so that we can't get disrupted. Okay, let me switch something off. So we proceed on this. Kindly, for those who are here, ensure that you like it. It's going to help this. And if you are still here, you can let's interact on the chat. Let's interact on the chat. It's morning. It is morning time. It's really morning. This is how the market is doing. We have been on the gold, and if you're following me, you know actually that gold has actually been doing good on our analysis. And what has really happened, because the reason I actually came very early compared to other time, 10 a.m., because I know in the next like few minutes some people are going to be joining us. So as they are going to be joining us, let's just do a small recap of what really happened on Friday. For those who are here on Friday, you know too well. For those who are here on Friday, it was so amazing. It was so amazing. Just look at the TP, how it was hit. Actually, do you know that I've not deleted anything? This is how the market was. This is how the market was. And I actually exist in some positions here because I closed some positions around this corner here. That is what I was expecting to get from this market around that area here. And just look at that. Our buying position, for those who are here on Friday, we were to buy that too. 88 and 32.78. Those are the buying positions that I actually placed here, and I told you specifically make sure that you scale inside those zones. But you know, of course, you can't enter the market most of the time. We are not going to be getting like we are not almost all the time going to get a sniper entry, and that's why you can see after entering this, you see here, this is actually 78. You see here, this is actually 78 here. This is 78 that you see here. Let me show you. The 78 is here. Let me even draw again. The 78 mark is here. This is 78. But you can see the market actually decided just to go from 78. This was the last price here, was actually 71. Just imagine. And after that, just look how the market actually was decided to do. This was on Friday. This was on Friday. And to prove to you on that, let's go even to this YouTube video that you see here. This video is actually a YouTube video that we did on Friday. Even the date are here. 2 days ago. It's almost 3 days ago now. And when you play this, you can see it was live. And for those who are joining this, I told you buy across this zone, and you can see it that too. And the market was actually around this zone here. yeah, was struggling actually to come to our zone here between 3288 and 3278. Yeah, that was Friday. That was Friday. I actually even closed. I want to show you something here again. I want to show you something here again. Let me show you something so that you'll be shocked. Let me show you something again. Let me show you something here. Those who are here on Friday, let me just know if you are in some positions. So that is the position that we took on Friday. It was so good. The market moved so well, and yeah, those are our entries. It's just still the same. I have not changed anything, as you can tell from this market. Let me show you something. The reason I trusted that signal and the reason I entered that market, I want to show you right now what happened. Why is that? What did I see? There's someone who was asking me previously, Dan, what did you see that I did not see in the market? There are a lot of things actually. Yes, a lot of things maybe I may see on the background. It's called rechecking behind the scene. You recheck behind the scene and you realize that this market is. I want to show you something here. I want to show you something before we proceed. It's actually good. The reason we do this is because we want to move. It's called moving with God. I like moving with God so that any movement it makes, I'm still with it. Every move that God makes, then we are together. Like we are together. Like you know why it is here and why it will be moving to the other positions. So you already know what is going to be happening. That is always good, and that's why you see we always try to remain consistent with trading gold. It is always nice. Where is this? I want to show you something here. So where we are going to be having some reactions here. So for the scalpers, I think it is almost your time. For scalpers, it's almost your time. But allow me to show you something amazing here. Where is the images? Okay, image. Okay, this here. Good. You see these? You see this? You see this one? Can you see this? Just look at the image on the right side. 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 You see that? You see that? That is the entry of how many dollars? And you can see that flip so big from that analysis that we took on Friday. That analysis that you see here. There was this one on Friday that we took actually here. Very simple. So it means that, yeah, very simple. This is analysis that we took here, and I left some of my trains actually to run like any Fridays. Most of the time I just decide to take that, but what normally happens is that around 3 a.m. there I will normally wake up in the morning and I really have to observe how the market is doing. That is what I have to do. So you can see that account, it was $200, and you can see now is floating $618. I'm going to be closing that. That was incredible. That was so amazing when you actually see something like that. Now, that was on Friday. Now, what is going to be happening this week? Because it is really amazing. This is the most important week, and if you ask me, we have a lot of things that are lining up. And what I'm going to do, because now I'm satisfied with 1100 here. Woof! I'm really satisfied with this. We close it like that. And okay, this was a review. If you can actually go to the live stream of Friday, you can recheck everything, what we are seeing on that live and what we are waiting for that market to do. and now this market has always respected how we actually analyze that. That was nice. Yep, that was nice. Now, what do we think is going to be happening? What is going to be happening this week? At I think we be having a lot of things that will be lining up. That will be news because this week we have a lot of fundamentals, and we are going to be reviewing that and the effect of how it's going to be affecting the prices of gold. We'll be checking that. But that will be later, and perhaps we can just do it tomorrow, because even if we just do it like today, I know gold will actually have moved in a very big way. So let's see, as we really continue talking on this, how gold is really going to respect this. But I'm waiting for 65, because for those you know that we have been waiting for 65 for so long. But just know we're going to be receiving probably small reaction to this area here, because you can see a supply here, just here. So where we'll be going from here, just wait for this market to come to 50s, and once we hit 50s, just reaction from these supports here that you see, market can actually do that. And yeah, might be going to that is almost to 40s, like just $9 move when this market just come to this point. So that is what we can maybe expect from that market reactions at that point. That is gold. That is what we can do. But most of the part of what we are going to be doing this week, we are going to be combining this analysis, different analysis, with the technical analysis, fundamental analysis. That's why when we start analyzing the signal that I'm be giving out, it will be combining different fundamental analysis and what is really happening. That is what I told you on Friday, and that is where we will start our analysis to check on what is really happening to the market, and we can check what is really happening to the market, and that is going to be incredible. So how many are here? Morning everybody. Tony Marigo, is the first time to see you here. Actually, just welcome on board. Karibu sana, the welcome on board here. So I told you I'll be giving you signals today. Yes, I will give you the signals today. And for those you remember these, I'm just giving you a recap of what we expect, because everything that we're talking about here, even if you just say it's about technical analysis, all of them is about history. All of this is about history. And that's why as we proceed on this live, so actually if you'll be joining us every day, it's just doing a recap of what we sent like 2 days ago, or maybe the last day we are live, because all those information is going to be handing up tomorrow. So the information that I give today is actually even going to be ending accomplished, mission accomplished here, and that was nice. No stop loss. So this is the third week. No stop loss hit, that was almost a sniper, because our last entry was 78 and the market went all the way to the drawback of 271. That was nice. It always happens to the market, and you can see that big move that actually happened over there. So I'm going to delete everything so that we can again start from the scratch. You can see all these, what is actually happening, and the market is actually trying. Just look at how this gold is actually moving. And this week we have a lot of fundamental. Remember, this is the week we have NFP, unemployment claims. So there are lots of news that will be observing, and I really want us to be there when we'll be trading these things, because we'll be analyzing and a lot of things can actually change. So what is going to be moving, how the market is going to be moving on this week, is actually going to be affecting. So I want us to see first of all what is happening to this reaction that you see here. If the market is going to react from 50s first, it's always nice. We go move slow. I was talking about this 50. This line is not straight. I have to put, what do we call it, greens. So if I put greens, I know that will be good. Let me see whether we can have greens. Where is this greens? I'll be putting greens on these to put so that I'll be able to have straight line. I saw them here. Okay. Yep. 49. Let's see that 349. Let's see 40 50. Yeah, 50 is there. Let's see how the market is going to react from 50. Yep, 50 from 50 here. Now let's see how the market is going to react from 50. We are going to be having some reactions from 50. Buyers have actually pushed this market all the way. Just look at this. This is so straight, and I think now for those who are planning to enter into this market, I don't think this is the good time, because the market is already up. The market is already very up, right? The price is very up. You're already very up. Let me see where the RSI is taking us. I don't really trust this RSI. Sometimes it's crazy. Let's just check on the just look at this. We are talking about overbought zone being at 84. So I think this is not a good time. Although we can't trust RSI, but at least you see we are very up, and it's going to be very risky for you to buy gold at that point. So what we can do here is to wait for this, because now we are very determined to go into this market. First of all, I want to have the first thing that we can start with is the deal breakers. When do we expect this market, in case it touches some point, we are going to have a deal breaker, and where we are going to be buying, because I really want us to buy this market again. I want us to buy gold again, but when it comes back, and not at the price we are talking about, because remember, long term we said we are going to be buying gold. Yeah. And yeah, let me remove something here. I don't know why I am trying to switch things here. And what is this? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Display. Oh my goodness. Yes. Now remember, I want us to check above and see what we have around this area here. So let's check. First of all, I want to have let me show you. I want to have 51. Now I want to I want us to check to see, because you cannot really say that this market is up and then I'm going to be selling this market. Remember, what we're saying is that most of the positions that we're going to be having are actually going to be buys. Most of the positions that we're going to be having is going to be buys. What he's saying is that most of the positions that we're going to be having are for the buys of the gold. And that's why you see from that point, we have been buying gold and we have not lost any of those. We have not actually hit any stop loss. It's because we actually knew the trend. We have actually knew the trend of the gold, where the gold is actually going to be moving. And we just decided we are going to remain to that. So we are going to be remaining to that. That is buying positions. And that's when this market is already up here, what we are going to be doing is actually we are going to maintain the same. We are going to be finding the place to buy. And when this market retraces back, because you can see already we are very up, now we are going to wait for this market now to come. And where is it going to be coming to, so that we can just buy? Because on the highest time frame, we said the gold prices are actually even going to hit the new high. Do you know what the new high is? Around 35, almost 36 there. And that is the price that you will really be waiting to see where the gold is actually going to be touching around over those places. And that's why all our positions that we're going to be having are going to remain buys. And that's why you see the reason we maintain on that. You can see now all our TPs that are going to be hit, all the TPs that have been hit in the market. Actually, some of them we close a half and then we we leave the others running over the weekend, over the night, and what you actually end up seeing is a very big move that has been happening. I always told you that most of our pips that we really target in this market are very huge, and not just 10 pips, 20 pips that you go just moved from 33 and it went to 33.60. No, here we are talking about the big move, and then you see I went to 78, and you see now we are talking about 50. So those are kind of pips that we are really talking about here. Those are the kind of signals that I really love, because once once you get this, then I know you are all good. Just look at how the $200 has been turned to almost $700, and that was incredible. I saw other person. There is a friend of mine who was also making huge amount of money from that. So you can see gold is really determined on that, and that's why this does not really concern me a lot. But I know when we come to 60s, because now this market is determined to come to this point, we might be getting a reaction towards that. A small reaction just was here, and I think this point here, and you can see gold is actually on a very big bullish, but later we'll be checking on the fundamentals to see what is really happening. But one thing I actually told you that even you don't know is that when you work on the prices, when you actually analyze the market so well in terms of the prices, when you analyze the market prices so well, even the news are actually not going to frustrate you. All you just have to do, monitor prices so well, because there's no way that the prices actually can be manipulated. There's no way that the market, even news comes and then the price is actually everything. So the prices are not going to lie. So when you analyze the market, when you know how the prices are actually going to be moving, when you know that there's a deal that can actually not be broken, there's a deal somewhere, or now this market cannot go this way, that means you're mastering the prices. And once you master the prices, there's no way that the market is actually going to move against you. You are always going to remain on the top. And that's why you see the market is still here. And one thing that people normally ignore is the trend. Never ignore the trend. The trend is always go. So we are going to be following the trend, how the market is moving and where the market is going. For those who are here, kindly ensure we signed. When you join this, you make sure that you like this video. So I can see we are almost 36 here and the 7 likes. So that means you have not liked this live. So ensure that you do that one right now. Now, we were doing the recap on the Friday, but we are still here to determine where this market might be ending on that. So I want to start again from the daily time frame so that I can remind you on what we were saying lastly. For those who are here, I want to remind you this so that I can show you that still we are sticking to that, and I want to show you the deal breaker that we have. Remember, that's why I actually like us moving together. Like I like us moving all the time. That Friday we were together, tomorrow, this morning, tomorrow again, another day, 3 days to go, and we're still together because you're going to master a lot of things here, and you're going actually to know how the gold is moving keenly. Now, for those who remember this, we said that the gold is actually going to move all the way up, right? Because we are saying this gold, the prices, we just analyzed and said the prices of gold, and gold is actually on the uptrend. So what you're going to do is that you're going to remain, most of the positions that you're going to be taking are actually going to be long. You take almost all positions that you're going to be taking are going to be long, and that's why you see now most of our positions, we normally wait for the market to come to a point and then we buy, because that has been our norm, that almost most of positions that we're going to have are going to be long positions, and that's what we actually been doing. But for those who remember this, and if you can't remember, I'm going to I'm going to do a recap of it, is that we're saying there's some point here. You see, this market was actually you see there is retracement of 61, 65 that you see here. Now, because now this market has already tested this point and it was worth it, and that's why you see for the position that we entered from all the way to that 220, most of our position actually we relaxed here, and we almost took 2 days without trading and just observing how the market is going to be doing. And again, we bought from this point here, okay, they remember that. I think it was, I think on Friday, we're saying around 35, and the market actually went boy at 40, 32, 40, but market just decided to touch 45. So it means that most our buy position here was not triggered because the market went to 40 instead 45 instead of 40 or instead of 40. So we missed just by $5 move, and we were to buy from this point, or the market just going all the way to that point. But you can see this point here is very important, because let me tell you why. Considering the candles and all that, the reason this point is important for this market to say that this still market is moving up and we are still going to have this market being on an uptrend. We have some point to break, we have some work to do. The market has some of the prices to show before now we just say that this market is actually moving up. Otherwise, we are going to have what we call a distribution area, a place where the market is reaching at the top, and that is one of the most dangerous things, because when you see the distribution forming at the top of the market, that is actually a sign that this market, because all you know is that gold actually has come all the way to this point. You see, gold was trending below 2000. We're talking about 1800 for those who have traded gold for a long time. And when just gold decided to break this, it never came back. And that's why you see we have this big move. Now, what I'm talking about is here, this zone, because if this market keeps rotating around this area, keep distribution around this area, I mean, like something like accumulation, where the market is not breaking any point, like the market is just in between those areas, then that is going to be dangerous, because we can see that market might actually now decide that, we are tired of moving up all the time, and is going to remember that kumbe nilikuanga kwa 22, kumbe I was in 19, kumbe I was in $2,000, and that is actually going to be treacherous. That is same thing for those who have been trading also cryptocurrency, that like Bitcoin, like Ethereum. You all know those points, how these things actually most of the time do. Like, for example, the time Ethereum was touching 4,000, and now you see it actually almost went to 1,600, almost a half of that, and now that is the time now we are seeing it actually rising again to 2,600. That is the same thing that can actually happen to the gold, and it is always crazy. So that's why you actually have to observe, and that's why in this hard trend that we have, in this trend that we are saying that this market is going to be moving, especially in gold, then it means we have to have some rules where we are going to say, in case this market touches to this point, in case this market comes to this area, now that is when we are going to be having a deal breaker. That is when we are going to have something to say. No, you have broken the code. Okay, now we don't trust you, and we have to be careful on that, because if we maintain on the uptrend, and the market start now to move down, then it's going to be dangerous, because if we start taking long positions and the market is on uptrend, that is going to be dangerous. So that is what I want us to check now. If you look at this market on the daily time frame, the first point that actually this market has to break now is this point here, since actually it has touched this, and that's why I'm waiting for it now to come and break this 65. But at this moment, because already the prices are up, and we have to do these things, because you see, this actually, if the market is actually going to keep this on this time frame, that means that you have created a big gap here which might be filled. But this market today or this week, we have to break this, otherwise this market is actually going to be dangerous around this zone, right? And maybe this is actually going to be almost the end of an uptrend, because now this market is actually struggling to break this point that we see across this market, across this zone here. Now I'm going to be focusing on key things that I'm waiting to see whether if this market breaks out, then we are going to be having at this zone. But already, just this is already a resistance zone, because this market has actually tested this zone twice, and that's actually has made it to be strong. Okay, so already this is a strong zone and a strong resistance zone, and you can just say that simple terms, simple terms. So we are going to wait for 34. This is actually 34, 38. That's a very big move that actually the market can move there. That is almost to $100 move to that point. Yeah, but you know what is going to be happening here? We are still waiting to see if this market is going to break this zone here. And once we break this, then actually it is actually going to be at least a small good news, because we might be, you see this one, at least there's going to be a good news. At least we break this, and actually going to be a sign that we might be moving to this zone. I want to show you on this lower time frame on what can really happen to this market and how we are going to be trading it, how we are going to trade that, how we are going to trend that. Remember, there is a breakout around this zone here. So I'm waiting to see when this market actually comes here, whether it breaks all the way to the top here. But we're saying these prices are in the hub, and that's why you see the prices now will be struggling to come to 65 that we have here, this 65 mark, the 65 that you see here. So once we hit 65, we might see a reaction happening to the market. For those who know, reactions are just simple. This market coming here, but I'm really waiting, because you can't trend. One thing that you are not going to do here is you're not going actually to trend. Don't trend. Don't trend. This is how things to avoid here. These are things to avoid here. So some of you may say that this market is going to break this zone and then you start buying. You don't actually have to buy when this market breaks that zone. That is the mistake that you can ever do. When you're actually trending this, all you just have to do, because now we are waiting for this market to do this, and the good thing that can actually happening to this gold right now is actually to break this zone of 60, of 65. So if the gold is actually going to break 65, is actually going to be a very good news to us. Okay, why? Because now we'll be waiting now for the prices actually to test this zone again, and this is what is going to be happening in case we break that, because it is actually likely possible, because this can see how this market is really determined, and you can see slowness because the market is already approaching that point. That here you see, if for those people who actually entered 78 80s where we were buying on Friday, and this point of the breakout here, then we'll be waiting for these prices at least to do some small moves here, and we might be waiting for these prices to that to so we have I want to give you just a quick one of where we can just expect this market to come to before even we buy, for this, for in case you want to buy and you don't want to be left out. So this is not a good time to buy, but there is a good time to buy when this market comes to this zone that you see here. Let me highlight that for you. This actually becomes a very nice area for you to buy. I know this line is not straight. I'll be putting the grains later. Now, when these gold prices come to this point, it will actually be a very nice place to buy. But let's see. I want to see on what do you have here in case these prices come to this point. Now, this is what I'm talking about here. Yeah, around 32.22. That this is 33.20 something, around 33.20 time. That is what we have. That is the move that we might be waiting for them going to do before it proceeds on the up one side, in case we don't break that. But in case we break this zone here and the market keeps moving up, now we might actually test this point before touching the most important area. But remember this, the most important point for us now to keep buying, because that is going to change everything, is 60, is this 34 that we have here. But as well, this 65 is our next target that we have from this market here, that 365. Once we touch that 365, once we touch that 365, that zone has been tested so many times, and that's why you can see they're still struggling. This was 659, and now we are talking about 54. This for those old traders now who have been probably entered this market when it's actually coming up from this point, I know their exit is actually around this area now. That is why you see the market reacting that, and that means people who can't own the position for a long time, they are starting to existing from that market. But that's what I'm expecting from this market. At least we come back, and once we start moving up again, so once you see this price is coming to 20s, 20 something, just know this, just know that once we come to 6 to 33.20, once we hit 33.20, we might be breaking this all the way, and this market is actually going to be ending all the way to 34, all the way to that zone, but we cannot move actually straight. So when this price breaks that, we are going to have some zone where this market is going to be testing, because it's going to test different zone from this one. But now you can see we are talking about that 357. That 357, that is what we are talking about here. That 357, the prices of the gold. So once we hit this, once we hit 60, around 64, of course the price is going to react from that, and we can expect at least the market to try and move to that is. But the worst mistake you can do is actually to try and sell the market. Never ever do that. I know that is one thing that maybe probably you have been doing. Although now the prices can come to 65 and reverse and go all the way to 33, that is. Never ever, you don't have actually to sell from that point, because personally that is the mistakes I was doing. That's like when I see that, and I know most of you actually know this, we can say the market is actually going to move that way, and we start seeing the market moving that way, and we are very sure that the market is moving that way. For those who have been joining this live, you know that like the market is going to move that way, and actually it moves and drops back. But remember our target, remember our goal. That is what actually have to stick in your mind. Like, we have to stay in bullish for long time, and that is what we are going to be getting from this market. So my area key interest is here, okay? Because I saying that we are in a very dangerous zone on now this goal now started moving, because now if you start seeing the distribution being formed, like the market is raging and we are no longer breaking the point, we are no longer moving up, that is going to be something very dangerous for us to enter into this market. There are times that you have to wait, and patience is always the key here. The patience is always the key. Just wait for the market to react. And there's something that I always told you that, and I told you to write in capital letters. Always wait for the market to come to you. So if you've not written that, make sure that you write that, and stick that to your wall. Stick that to somewhere where you can see it. And for those who have been doing that, you have seen the result. Okay, you have seen the result. We just wait for a perfect. Some of times you're not going to see the market clearly. Just analyze the market and wait for the market to come to the zone that you see is actually going to be clear. Right? Not all the time you're going to be analyzing the prices of gold and then you see the market is going to buy, the market is going to sell. Not all the time you're going to see that. And that's why we have to wait for this point that we have here, that 65. And once we achieve 65, now we'll know that how this market is going to react from that. And then we are going to wait for the good thing about gold is X actually can move all your directions, and you don't have to wait long. You know, this is not Euro USD that you have to wait 2 days before the market comes to your point. No, when you talk about gold, it's just a few hours. You just have to give it time, less than 24 hours. All things that you analyze, the market has come there. If you went place a trend, TP is hit, and you are in a new analysis. So you can be patient enough when it comes to the gold, even compared to other currencies. Now, we are talking about 53, but I'm going to see how these prices are going to be reacting 65. The 65, for those who remember, we end actually at 65 being our ASTP. I don't know which trend is that, but actually it's like we end up closing. It's actually we ended up closing that trend. I think that was last week. There's a trend that we end at TP target of 65. I don't remember which trend is that, but we it seems that we closed that trend almost a half of it. Yeah, that's the trend that we took. So I'm waiting for a retracement for this to see how the market is doing, but that does not really happen all the time. But yeah, that is what we can be getting from this market, a break from this. But at least because already we are up, and just look at how the prices have actually been pushed. So from that 304 all the way to this point, the prices actually have to just do a small retracement, and that's why 60s here is very important. So once the price come here, once we get these prices here, you just don't sell. There are a lot of things that you'll be observing here, including the candlesticks, how the candlesticks are actually forming. Okay, what types of candles are we getting here? Are we really, there are a lot of things that we'll be observing here to see whether this market is moving down or we're going to be getting breakout. That is just based on prices. That is actually based on just the prices. We are going to resume on analysis. Don't worry. Let me check. I want to really check. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, come on. Good morning. How are you doing? I see you. James Imbogon, good morning. Anthony Jagani, good morning. How are you, sir? Peter Kangoro, good morning, Dan. I'm doing good here. I'm doing here. I've actually, the funny part is I've from the signal that I gave on Friday to buy at 78. I'm already gone at this point. I actually don't even need a trade today. I don't actually need even to trade. I don't need even to enter the market. I don't actually even need to just trade today. I just need to observe things because from last Friday, the signal that I gave, you can see how things actually turned out. And actually, my target daily was actually hit, and the profit that I made today, actually, I can even share tomorrow, almost the half of the week. So I think I'm so good now. I'm very good. I'm very good. And once I hit that, I keep observing the market so well. But you know what? I'll be observing it for you so that I can just give you all the signals. So, but for those who work with me, you must have made some good amount of money. Okay, who is here? Okay, so you have an appointment for me with me. Okay. Peter Nagara, hello, good morning. I see new faces here today. Yeah. VS, good morning. How are you? James Mwangi, good morning. Good morning. We are gold. Yes. Very cold. A very good morning actually. Then the analysis was good. This is actually, do you know actually this is a done week. Every entry that we have done with gold, no stop loss was hit. And there's one trend that was very wise, and it was a certain Friday, like 2 weeks ago. The market just, almost to the stop loss, just $3. But the market just decided kunusia, inaendanga kunusia, just smelling, just asema wewe, I can see you, but I'm not going to touch you. And the market actually decided to go and actually decided to hit the TP. Wow, that is now the patience. I know some people here were sweating at that time. Shivo Mindy and do analysis on GU. What is GU? Are you talking about GU? GU? No. GU, what's GU? GU, and that's, I don't think that is Solver. Got something new today about waiting for the market to come to my point. Okay. All right. What do we have here? Let's just wait and see how Vanguard is really going to be. You can see this is very big move, and at least we have to feel this market, this that you see here, and that's why the most crucial part is here. But remember, what I'm saying here is that this market is up, and selling is actually going to be one of the worst decisions that you can make, because you can sell here and go and just decide to come to just this area here around 44 and then just move all the way up. You see, it's actually disadvantage to you. But you see, for example, let me show you. Gold, for those who are buying from this point here, for those who bought at 78, you can buy from that 78, and your TP, the first TP to be here, but probably even you forget to enter the TP or whatever you just do, or you, this is how we do it. Like if we set three different zones of TP. Like the first one, we enter here and then we just wait for the market to just move. Like you have seen, the trend that I closed today was actually just one position because I enclosed two of them, yeah, at different positions. So you can see you can take advantage of the continuous move of the market compared to taking the market that's actually going down, because it's going to be a high risk. So here we talk high quality trends, and high quality trends are the one that are going to move to the direction of the market compared to the one that you're going to short. So if you realize the market is going up and you short that market, remember you are taking disadvantage, because those trends that you are taking are of low quality. I call them low quality because sometimes you can enter the market and you see in the next time the market, yes, just goes and probably never hit the TP, or probably never hit the TP, but it's actually going to move to your direction. You see, it's almost there, maybe 50% of your TP. And then the next thing that you realize in the next 5 minutes is the TP, the stop loss inagongwa vibaya sana, like like a running vehicle, 200 kilometers per hour, boom, and the market continues to move up. And that's why you see so many traders say that, hey, if my TP is always my stop loss, why? See, I can do the opposite. Like when I see the market is buying, I sell. When the market is selling, I buy. So that is why I think that is the reason. That is the reason why. So the reason you see slowness is because I told you the prices are very up, okay, are again here. That's why you see is really struggling. So the exit of many traders here are exactly at that point. I want to say something here. Let me draw something here so that we can check clearly with you. Um, I want to show you why so many people, when how many orders what took place in this market. You see, now what do we have here? So you can see there's actually a high volume that was being traded here, and this is actually around morning hours. You can see we have big volume that was actually traded here. Just look at that, around that 307. But remember, this was actually one of the this actually one of the levels here. Let me show you. This was actually one of the critical levels, and I think from this point here to the 12, that 312 here, you can see big volume that was actually trended around this area. Now what we can say, when you can't say that these are buyers or sellers. That is the first thing I actually told you, that we have different language that we use here: aggressive, passive, all those things. So they are different. When you talk about that, we are talking about different thing. Now, where and where else do we have so many positions just being, and these are positions just developing at 33, 56, 33, 56, 33, 56. So I want to see whether we are going to have something big happening around that zone, that is 40s. So once we hit 63, I really want, let me draw something here because it's going to be critical. It's going to be more important. It's going to be very important here, because now if we're going to be entering this market, our stop loss is going to be somehow around that 3. Okay, because we are going to avoid this zone here. We are going to avoid this zone here. So what I'm waiting to see at the moment is to see this market coming to this area here, and then we buy from here. So we are going to look for another buy, and but this time this buy is actually going to break this. All right, this market is actually going to break this zone here. Once this is actually hit, once this market comes to this zone, I'm waiting to see whether this market can actually come to that point around this area here. But remember, don't really have we never have like a specific point. I never tell you to buy at a specific point. We normally give it a credit and distance of either 600, that's $10 move. You can actually count for yourself how many pips have those. So if you are buying from, for example, at this point here is 21, so we are going to give it a 10 distance of $10. It can be either between 33.10 and 33.20, or 33.20 and 33.30. That is in between that, so that we can have the scaling in where we just defined our positions, and that is actually even going to maximize your profit. So when the market start moving up, then we can have something very incredible to just have on this, and that's how normally we can really maximize on how amount of money we are going to be checking and get from that market. Now I'm waiting to see that point here for the gold, and I think I'll be getting some questions, because I think that some people asking me to check on the other currencies. I want us to have first of where we expect the gold to move, and then as we wait for those prices, then we'll be checking on other currencies to help you, those who fear gold. But if you normally fear gold, I don't know why you have to fear gold, man, because you know why. Because you know why. You know why? Because if you've been trading with us, then you don't have to be worried. Because you don't have to be worried. And I think you don't enter all the full margin. Of course, you don't have to be worried, because we have been nailing it here on YouTube, be alive, Ray, with you. So you see how I'm talking about here. The price is just reacting around that zone. But of course, just expect it. And that's why you see, in case this price is actually decided to put and go all the way to 65, can actually break that, boom, 65. But of course, even if it break that 5 is not actually going to go all the way straight. At some point is going to actually come to that one around this zone here. So I'm going to highlight this K interest zone that we're going to be having here. It's going to be very important that we are going to consider to buy. But when this market comes to that zone here, that is the time now being considering to buy from that area here. That is the zone that we'll be concentrating to buy, because most of our position now are buys. Yep, yep, yep. So I think that is good. That is good. That is what we expect from that market. That is what I can say. Because now I've closed some positions, and the trend that we took on Friday, it was actually fulfilled today. So that means you can't always, you just have to give it some time and wait for this market. So what I'm expecting is this point, of course, to see how the market is going to react from this. And I'm expecting at least the prices to a little bit. What if the market does not actually come to 65 and decide to come to this point where it is right now, like just like this, then it's actually going to be very okay, because I'm still going to buy from this point. It has actually proved itself that is moving up. Still, I'm going to have a buy from this area again, just the same. I'm going to buy again from that point. So that is what I'm going to be waiting. In terms of the gold, that is certain, and that is my area of the focus that I'm going to be having today. Okay, that is the key point I'm going to be having today. So when the market comes here, we'll be determining the stop loss, and you'll be using the volume profile and to see where the many orders have been placed to avoid those liquidity zone, and this to have high probability trends that you can have in this market. All right, is that complicated at all? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That is simple. That is simple though. That is simple. That is not complicated. So the game here is wait and see. Wait and see. So we get to this point here. We get to this point here, and then we buy again. Okay. And then we buy again. Then we are going to buy from this market. Okay. We're going to buy from that zone. That is our goal for the gold. I'll be checking on the other currencies later. I'll be checking on the other currencies later. Allow me to just a few minutes. I'll be coming back. Now, good people, we are going to wait to see how the market is going to be reacting in between those zone of 64 and 33. Once the market is to that levels, then I'll be coming back so that we can have something good. Our entries that we're going to be having from this market, my positions are really open. For that, I'm going to be opening some positions to that point, and we're going to see what we get. But it's not of must for these prices actually to come to that point. We can even reverse and retrace even from this point. So once even the market start moving even one from this point that has achieved here, that is okay. Still, we're going to be buying from 32.26 and 33.18 into that buy, and then we are going to test, and this time we're going to be breaking this, and that time we're going to be holding all the way to 34. So that is what we're going to be having today. In terms of the gold, those are the positions that we are going to concentrate on, and that's at the point that we are going to be waiting. These levels that you see, 33.26 and 33.18, and that is where you're going to be buying it. So in case the prices actually comes to those points, ensure that let me know, because those are our zone of interest that we are going to be getting from that market. Thank you to those who are joined this has been 1 hour. Now, that is the point that we'll be waiting to see from this market for it just to come to this point. Why saying that? In case it's just, you see, we actually hit around 59, so it's almost like $4 to $6 there for it to reach to 65. But in case now it is start moving towards the downside, then we are going to be buying from still this point that we are talking about here, 33.26 and as well 33.18. Those are the points that we are going to be talking about there. And when the prices actually come to this point that you see here, which is in between that 326 and that 318, we are going to be observing different things that we will talk about here: candlesticks and risk management. How much how much are we going to put in, and how much are we going to place into that market? As you can see, the market is trying to move down, but the point that is with actually is actually because of these traders that entered this point here and they're existing here, and you can see there are low orders on this upper point up to this point here. I think there are some orders, maybe there's some people who started selling at that point, and that is what is called the good one. Now let's wait and see, because patience is the key here. That is the first thing that I want you to learn from this, that just wait, you just relax. It's not all the time I'm going to on other days. Sometimes, I come live and give you under I signal, and the other time you just have to wait market to come. So when the prices actually come to 65, we're going to observe what is going to be going to doing there. In case it breaks up, then we're going to observe to see where it's actually going. But remember, we are not really yet to buy from this market until we have low prices. Now we can consider this for short term, that the prices for the gold is actually low. Okay, it's high. I mean, it's very high. This is just a short term prices. It's not like daily one. It's not like for monthly. But when we talk about month, when we talk about here, the prices are high. Still, yeah, is high. Even when we are here, the prices were still high. But at least when you talk about here, short term thing, prices are high. And that is what you could be considering actually to do some favors here when the prices actually try to come low, at least to that 326. And remember one thing, our focus is this round. This time when we enter and buy, we are going to be focusing on big again. Last time was 70. Let's even say between 88 and 78. Entry is 82. So between 82 all the way to the point that we got here, all the way to this move here, I think most of my position around 47. So that is 47 plus 20, that is $67 move on the gold. So you can actually count how many pips are there. So that is $67. So once we hit this 3306, you see, will actually be eating 34, another one. So it will actually be another big move. It will be another big bang that will be happening here for another 60s big move, just like the one we took on Friday. So it's going to be another big one. It's actually going to be a big one. And for you to capture that big move that normally happens to that market just like that, you have to wait. You have to give it patience. You just have to wait. Yep. I'm going now to close this because I want to show you here. I want to show you something else here. I'm now closing this because I think now the prices will be going down. Let me show you what am I talking about closing. What am I talking really about? I want to close this now, and that's how you do it, man. That is how we do it. I want to show you something here. I want to show you something. I want to close this. Actually, I not close this. I'm a risk. You know, there are some point I can even wait for the market to just give it a space. Yeah, and just to move many days. Do you know actually there's a time I found that trend 1 month plus. But you know the good thing with HFM, what do you call the swap? It's not that big. Swap. I know if it's other brokers now will be crying. Like what on earth? Yo. So you see how when you enter a cell at a certain point, it's going to confuse you a lot. It's going to give you mixed signals. It's going to you remember this 600, so I'm up again $100 and I'm going to close this again because I'm done. I'm done with this. Just done. Done. It's not done my name, but I'm done. DONA. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. So this is the position. I'm going to close that now because you see, it's a small account. Let me give you that voice. Let me give you. I want to give you that one. Okay. You see that? That is just a small account there. I want to give you that voice. Conco. Close opposition. Boom. All closed. All closed. I'm good now. I'm going to close that one, and now we'll be waiting to see how the market is going to do. At that point, we are going to try and buy again because the reason I've done that is because I'll be waiting for these prices to come down again. These prices might be coming down again, and I'll be buying here. So I'll have to be patient again to see how the prices are going to react in different those zones, so that we can have long one. And this time we are going to be targeting another $60 move. Okay, $60 move. That is what we are going to be talking about here. $60 up. $60. This was 61. That was $61. $61. That was a $61 move. But this time we are going to be focusing here. The reason I don't love currencies, like the currencies sometimes can frustrate you most of the time because for a currency to come to your point, for a currency to come to your level, and then you're just it's going to take time. So allow me to remove the prices there, what we actually did there, because actually the good thing is holding this with the HFM over the weekend is actually not going to cost you that much. Swap. All I can see is that the swap, you're not going to be charged swap. That's a swap free account. That's the good thing. So no big deal there. Now there's someone who wanted us to check on the GBP USD. GBP USD. And GBP USD is actually going to be affected mostly this week news as well, because we will be checking as well on the news and USD. I'll tell you about the news. We'll be checking that, and I think we have to do that tomorrow, because we have to do it tomorrow. We have to do it tomorrow from 10. Today I'll not live stream the whole day, but this week I'll be doing more of the live streams because of the news. So I want us to either start 11 or 10, but we'll be doing it in a nice way. This week is so busy. Monday 2nd, we have the PMI, 5 p.m. 8 p.m. Paulo will be speaking. Tomorrow again, I'm talking about USD. On the USD, we'll be talking about ADN, non-farm employment changes that will be on Wednesday, but I think that never affect that much. But for those who trade normally euro, we'll be having the rate this week. So this week is full. This week is news. But one thing that you have noticed is that Trump, this guy is actually more than these things. This guy is taking over. He's actually becoming more powerful to this market even than Paul himself, and even more than how this news actually can do all these things to the market. So I think the most important thing that we'll be checking is the Trump's speeches are very important as well, even to this. And I think this time they have actually started handing him on the calendar, because it's a new thing. I've never seen who was the former president. I've never seen him on the calendar, but this time Trump is in. And do you know what is the rating? It's actually high impact. It's one of the high impact. When he speaks, is one just among the high impact speeches that we get from him. The one of them actually have been this. So we are going to be talking about different things, and more so we're going to be talking about gold. A lot of events that are happening. So I'll compare all that, and then we're just going to be doing it all the way tomorrow. So that is what we can have here. I don't know whether I can check on the GBP USD. I really like answering the questions of them to give you the move. But I think my time is gone, and I want to leave this so that at least I can have sometimes to breathe. And when this price, so remember one thing, for those who have my number, for those who have my WhatsApp number, so when these prices comes to that point, ensure that you remind me. But there's one thing I normally do: I set alert. So what I'm going to do, just look at this. These alerts we've been setting, all of them have been being triggered. So I'm going to set another alert here. Remember, you can set alert many of them in case you have the paint version for this. Many of them to different of them. So I'm going to set an alert here, and mine is going to read at 30. I'm going to, because when the prices come to that, at least I have time to see and not be in a hurry to enter. So when the prices comes to that 330, I'll receive an alert, and this is actually going to be every time the price is touches that, because whether it's going up or down, I'm going to receive a notification for that. So every time, and this is actually going to expire tomorrow, Wednesday 2nd. Okay, what is the time is this? Let me set the time at 11:45, so midnight. Okay. Okay. Oh no. No. And I have to upgrade my thing here. So July 2nd. July is next month. Yeah, July is next month. So hii ni mwezi gani? Inaitwaje? June. This is June. So this is actually even long enough. So I'm going to create that. So that is an alert of creator right there. Once the market hit that 330, to actually trigger me, it will actually, I have the trending view as well on my phone, so I'm going to receive a notification. I'm going to receive a notification for that when the prices hit below that 330. I'll be crossing that. I'll be receiving a notification to tell me that, you know what, wake up. But for those who have my number, I know you are always WhatsApping me telling me, hey man, hebu kuja hapa haraka haraka, mambo imechemuka. I mean, that is what you normally tell me. And yeah, I'm very observant. I'm very keen. I'm very keen. I don't know whether we check that one later. My first time to be with you. I fear gold, but I see your mentorship is good to give me the fear. Yeah, man, don't be afraid of this thing. Don't be afraid of this yellow metal. It's simple, very simple. And for those who have been trading us those 3 weeks, they actually have to know that trading gold is the easiest thing. Very easy. Very easy. It's just like 1, 2, 3. Just like 1, 2, 3. And one thing that you have noticed that I don't even use I don't even use complicated strategy on the ground. Yeah. I don't use complicated things. Yeah. I use simple things to trend ground. Yeah. The simplicity. And I use simple languages to explain to you guys. Mentioning just different things. I create some ones that not complicated. The reason forex sometimes seems to have a lot of people fear. You hear things liquidity, fear volume gaps, a lot waves when you talk about distributions and whatever. A lot of things when you apply different concept, ICT or apply, you know, different concept comes with different names, but all the same. Trust me, all those names just refer to almost the same common names. There's no difference. Yeah. You may be talking about whatever you're talking about, but you're talking about the simplest things. We can be talking about the resistance and the support zone and the other terms that you're going to hear outside there are very complicated. So don't I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that. And different ones that you can use and different depending on what you want to get and the concept that you're using. But you can maintain just simple by using simple language and still get what you want. Don't depend all around there. Good morning, Sandan. Good morning, Vincent. How are you doing? I think question is the gap is around 32.90 and 33 for any significance. 33 that are you talking about that 33 ended and 32.90? Okay, what which is that? This is too far, man. This is very far. I don't know what time frame are you talking about the gap, but that is very far. For that market to come to that zone, it's very far. It's very far. The worst we can go is just down there. That is 20 around that zone here, and then the market comes to that is the time we'll be looking for some buys around that zone. Oh Jesus, if you're not here and you have not subscribed, always the first thing that you have to do is not for me, is for you. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notification bell. Anytime I may decide to come again live here, okay, live here, and I'm not actually going, I don't have your number to tell you come live. What you can do is you press that notification bell. It will notify you that, you know what, Apple, it will pop up. It will actually pop up on your screen. All you just have to do is just click and then you join us. I might be having good news for you, like, a very instant signal. You enter into the market. We have done this before and people have joined and trended and made some quite good amount of money. So it's always nice for you. It's always nice for you. It's always nice for you. And GBP USD. I've not checked GBP USD. Let me tell you one thing. When I keep analyzing currencies, I currencies they will give us something. They will give us something. Like currencies, you have to wait, and you can wait for a very long time. Prices are never gone there. Yeah, but it's very simple. I know if we can make it to be very simple. Currencies are actually one of the simplest things. Currencies you can trade very simple. Very simple. You apply just different things. Yeah. Currencies, just very simple. But also check if you're trading GBP USD, make sure that you check on the DXY as well. DXY as well. The reason we don't normally check on the DXY all the time is because it's not going to be of more importance. It's not actually going to make the prices of gold moves, but we are going to be checking on the DXY because somehow might be having some effect to the prices of the gold, just like the other time we were analyzing this. So anytime we don't have a lot of things that are really happening, so that is what we normally get. So you see, even the DXY around that zone. So I don't know what we were really talking about here to, but the good analysis that we did on DXY telling you that we are going to be getting the market doing something, and we got that point. So you can see we are on the lowest point of the DXY, and from this point here, I think there is some of the gap that's created. We can wait at least. This is a very good, but there's a very bad one, and you can see this. As you see, probably the prices are just moving up, and it is testing this zone here that you see here. You see that? And that's why probably it has restricted the prices of the gold to keep moving up, and yeah, somehow. And once we hit that, these prices might keep going all the way down. But still, we wait at least for it to come to 99. And for it to come to 99, remember it is actually going to push the prices of the gold to come all the way to that point. And that's why I'll be waiting to see, because I don't really expect this market to keep going all the way just like that. This is already a very big move for the DXY to make. It's a very big move without a small move. So what I'm waiting to see is at least this DXY to just come a little bit here to 99. And once we are at 99, I think the gold prices might be having 33 30s. And once we are here, once we are there, we can keep moving on this. We can keep taking those trains. It's going to be a nice one. It's going to be great. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be closing this live here, but I'm going to come again because I know the prices are actually going to move to this point. We are going to have big move that is going to happen to this market, and it's going to be either our prices there or the upper side. So once we hit that, I'll be coming live again and ensure that you do when I do. Ensure that you are there. Once I am there, you are there. Okay. Once I'm there, you are there. Okay. I'll be having a setup where I can be leaving this trade to run 24 like throughout the day. I've done this before. Fridays I normally have to leave them just running, just like that. I'll be leaving this running. Okay. I'll be leaving this running. So I think that is what I'm going to be having. I'll be having these trains running. You can see how this is trying, and I know it is actually pushing the prices of gold downwards. Let's see, we are talking about 52. Let's see, actually going to make this probably move once we're here, be considering something to buy or sell. I'll see you in the next few hours to come, or some minute. I'll be coming live again here on Dan Tech. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you later. Don't think whether I have any other question at the moment. And yeah, I don't have any question at the moment. I'll be leaving my number there so that in case you have any question or you just want to get into my team. Okay. Okay, my WhatsApp number is that. Okay, let me comment with my own number. Let me just comment with my own. Is that one? I will just comment and with another account. Let me have. Okay. So that's my WhatsApp there. So in case for the questions and all that, my number is there. So my number is there. I'm going to close this. Struggles happening. Okay. Have a good day. Have a good trading day. I'll be coming live in the moment we have the point that we have enlightened.